guys, and welcome back to another episode of Off the Shelf. I'm your host, Ronan Time HD, and this week, what we found off the shelf was... Centipede Horror, released in 1982, lovingly released by the lovely chaps over at Error 4444. Check their stuff out. They're really great. And this film was directed by the late Keith Lee Peckling, very sorry, and Michael Moo. Very sorry, I didn't pronounce that either. A member of the Five Tigers, if you know what that is, if you're into Hong Kong television. Either way, this film is a exploitation Cat 3 horror film. And it was actually the only Cat 3 film to be written by a woman, who, if you're wondering, only wrote 2 movies. This movie and Red Spells Red, which I have reviewed before. Go check out that review after watching this one. Either way, she also, like, on the wiki, this is a little anecdote, but when I looked on the Wikipedia article that mentioned that it was the only Cat 3 movie to be written by a woman, if you don't know what Cat 3 is, it's like the rating system in China. Either way, it said that she was an actor and writer, but she'd only ever acted in one movie, and it was this movie. And I don't know what role she played, because when I look on HKMDB, when I look fucking anywhere, it doesn't credit who's who, right? So I kind of just have to make assumptions for some of them, right? I can make good assumptions on a couple of them, but other ones not really. Either way, I think that this film is just a not as good version of Red Spells Red, which I guess kind of makes sense, because a lot of the people who worked on this movie also worked on Red Spells Red. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And another weird thing that I noticed is that this is just so strange to me, because I looked at some people, and some people who worked on this movie only worked on this movie and Red Spells Red. I don't know why. It really weirded me out. I couldn't really find much on it. I just find that really odd. There was a whole fucking production and distribution company that only produced this movie and only distributed Red Spells Red. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, that's just super fucking weird. Either way, I'm kind of getting into anecdotal just tidbits. Either way, this film itself, well, I will say, earlier I said it's just not as, it's a lesser version of Red Spells Red. And I think that's true. I think there are interesting ideas. I like the weird, like, gross out centipede, like, you know, magic going on, like the wizard stuff. I like all that stuff, right? But I think even that, you know, as they say, it kind of insisted upon itself. I feel like the movie, the pacing was just really off for me. I think, like, there were some scenes where I'm like, oh, this scene is great. I really like this scene. And then it just kept going and going and going. And by the end of the scene, I'm like, Jesus Christ, can we just get this shit over with already? God damn, we don't need to have this much. So it felt like a rough cut. You know, it felt like scenes. It felt like when they were putting together a scene in this cut of the film, it felt like we're gonna just use every single piece of footage that we shot, right? We will not cut any of it out. It will all be used in this movie, right? Obviously, it's a bit of hyperbole, but it feels like a lot of the, like, there's a lot of padding, and there's a lot of stuff that I feel like feels a little too self-indulgent, and I don't think that's necessarily, as I said, a fault of the director. This film, this right here was the actual first distribution of it here in the States. So thank you again for that, Error 4444. I appreciate your contribution to the community. Either way, so in my opinion, I think this movie could have used a bit more editing. And I think Like, there are legit moments in this film where I went from really, really, really liking a scene to just being angry that it was still going. Like, there are points in this movie, I think you could make an entire short film based on the amount of times the evil wizard in this movie goes, ha 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 ha! You know what I mean? Like, I love a good maniacal laugh, right? Who doesn't love a good maniacal laugh, okay? It's good things, but as I said, there's too many of it. There's too much of it, right? Like, I don't need it every other scene. Like, dude, the ending scene, I feel, could have been at least 5 minutes shorter. Like, it feels like, it feels like they're padding the runtime, which I don't think they were trying to. I think maybe they were, like, trying to add suspense, maybe, by, like, oh, are the centipedes gonna get him, right? Oh, is the wizard gonna kill the main character? Like, I guess that's kind of what they were trying to do. But, like, you can only do that for so long before the audience goes, okay, we get it, let's move on, right? Like, I just personally, I don't believe that the movie was very scary, right? So it didn't really, like, have me at the edge of my seat, like, ooh, are the centipedes gonna get him? Like, I didn't genuinely, like, the movie didn't get me. Like, I didn't think that the bad guy was gonna win, right? It didn't seem like that kind of movie. You know what I mean? And I think the movie was really banking on me thinking that. At least that's what I felt. And that's maybe my hypothesis for why I think the movie was so self-indulgent, especially in the finale. Because then there was the evil wizard, but then there was, like, a good spellcaster wizard guy who helped the main character. And I will admit, the ending of the movie was fun. Like, because it didn't drag on for too long, even though it still kind of did. Literally almost everything in this movie was really drawn out, and it really bothered me. So, because that's the problem. Like, there are fun scenes that are ruined because they're just too long, right? Example, for the end of the movie. At the end of the movie, it looks like the evil wizard's gonna win. It seems like his plan is going right. But then the main character, as he's freaking out, as these centipedes are all over his hotel room trying to get him, and the evil wizard's like, ha 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 ha, I have won, right? And then he, like, knocked out the good guy wizard because they were, like, doing a magic mind battle, right? And it's like, all of it's going to shit, the main character's gonna die, but then he spills hot water over his, like, magical necklace that started the whole thing. Then a snake comes out of it. Just inexplicably, a fucking snake just rises out of the necklace, and then a snake just comes out of the evil wizard's head, and then he just dies. And then the good wizard gets revived and then burns him to ash in 2 seconds. And that's great, right? Me saying that's amazing. That's weird. I love that. But here's the thing. That goes on for way too long. When the snake comes out of his head, that should be 30 seconds, like maybe 40 seconds tops, right? But there's a solid, like, minute of him going, ah, ooh, my head, ooh, that, ouchie. Like, there's a whole minute of him doing that, and it's like, I get it. There's a snake coming out of his head. I understand. You want to do the blood effect. Just get on with it. Right? It's literally the Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Get on with it! It's like, just, I get it. And that's the problem. This movie cannot do anything quickly. This movie is only like 95 minutes, and it feels like it's fucking 2.5 hours with how much it draws out every fucking scene. If every scene was cut down, it would probably be like it'd be like a 40-minute movie, or like an hour-long movie. Because then there's another scene, which is, in my opinion, the worst example of this. I can understand with the ending, you know, you want to, like, draw it out to, like, build tension, and maybe, like, as the bad guy's dying, like, maybe they wanted to, like, ham it up a little bit, so that it, like, you know, like, just, like, the cheese from the 80s. Like, I can understand that, and I can excuse it a little bit, even though it distracted me. This, I could not bear. And this was a scene that I don't, like, at least the ending obviously had story, like, was integral. Like, a lot of the stuff in there, even though I had a problem with it, I could keep it in for the integrity of the story. This was egregious, at least to me. And it was this ritual scene with this, like, lower level, like, spellcaster priest guy. And he was trying to get, like, this curse, this, like, these curse out of this woman that we never see again in the movie, mind you. This is literally just to demonstrate this guy's power, like, his spell casting abilities. That's literally the only purpose of the scene. And then the scene goes for like 20 fucking minutes, and it shows in excruciating detail every single step of the ritual. So then he gets his weird invisible ghost children that don't do anything in the story and are just like exist. They don't like do anything. So they're there, and then he, you know, of course, being a Cat 3 movie, it's all risque and taboo. She's all naked the whole time, right? And literally they just like have shots of boobies just cuz, I guess. And then, but then before we even get to the point where he's like doing stuff with her, so he starts like, he violently rips out feathers of a chicken, and then he chops the chicken's head off, and then he slowly pours the blood onto a stamp, and then he slowly raises the stamp, and then he goes, and he they show like a solid minute of him stamping this fucking like stamp onto this woman for so long, and then for a solid minute or two, it's just him going with bones, and it's just like, I get it. You don't, and then it keeps going, and then it cuts to her, like, going, on the floor. She's like, and again, I understand they want to show, like, the pain and, like, you know, I guess the horrific nature of trying to get, like, essentially a curse out of somebody. But it just kept going and 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 going. Then it would just randomly cut to the main characters who react to it, who barely even react at all, don't add anything to the scene. They just go, crazy, right? that's fucking, they don't even say anything. They just randomly cut to the main characters for no reason, right? And as I've said, then it just like will cut randomly to this old dude's like crusty ass sweaty mouth and going num, 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 num. And it's like, I just hated that scene so much. And I genuinely think it probably could have been like a minute or two, and it would have conveyed all that it needed to convey without needing all that unnecessary bullshit. And that's just kind of the whole movie for me. As I said, there are ideas of it that I liked. I liked the weird, like, you know, magic stuff. I liked the weird-ass ending. I liked the fucking Michael Jackson Thriller ending, where it's revealed, oh, she's still possessed. Where it's, like, literally at the end of Thriller, when he turns around and he still has the eyes, and it's ha 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 ha. Like, that's funny and cheesy, and I like that. I like a horror movie with a gotcha ending. But, even though the ending was strong, I feel like the rest of the movie just wasn't that great. And I know I'm being a little harsh here. And I wanted to like this movie. Believe you me, I wanted to fucking love this movie. Because I liked Red Spell Spells Red. I mean, I literally thought it was Red Spell Spells Red from how similar the covers are. Right? And I thought I'd already seen it. And I was watching it, I was so excited. It's like, oh, it's weird. Like, Hong Kong exploitation cinema. It's a Cat 3 movie. I'm excited. And as it went on, I'm just really disappointed. And maybe if you watch this movie, maybe you'll get more enjoyment out of it. Maybe you'll get more enjoyment out of it than me. I don't know. I mean, hell, if all I've said, if you're fine with all the issues I've stated with this movie, maybe you could see it. And maybe you'll like it. But unfortunately, I didn't. And if it comes to recommendations personally, I'd say just watch Red Spells Red. Right? That movie, in my opinion, was just a lot better and just a general upgrade over this movie. And with that being said, I think I would rate this movie like a 4 out of 10. And yeah, I think I have something to say. I think I have something to peace. So guys, I hope you liked this video. Share it with friends, subscribe, turn those notifications on, comment down below how much you liked it. And I've been Run to HG, off to break a curse. I just need the bones like the he had like 2 like comically giant bones. They looked like they were like cartoon bones from like the Flintstones, and he was like banging them together. I should do that in real life. I wonder if that's like therapeutic. You know, I hate to say this, but this is the first miss for Air 4444. Every other film of theirs that they've released, I've really enjoyed, and this is the first one that really wasn't for me. And I guess I hate to say it, but I guess they can't all be winners. I still love you though, Air 4444. Keep doing what you're doing. Even if your films aren't for me, I appreciate what you do.